Stadium in Sarasota, Florida, Sports Channel presents the 1995 Florida High School Baseball Championship. Tonight, the Lakeland Santa Fe Crimson Hawks take on the Miami Westminster Warriors for the Class 2A title. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ed Smith Stadium. I'm Frank Messer, along with Larry Battelle. And Larry, when I say that Westminster takes on Santa Fe, it seemed like we've said that once before.
It was about 1 year ago at this time, Frank. Right here in Sarasota, they met for the championship, and Miami Westminster had a big 8-run rally early. They took control of that game, went on for the state title. Something very unusual in Florida high school baseball, a championship rematch today.
And it looks like a good one. There's a lot of hitting, but I think the pitching will decide. Well, pitching decides most ball games. But looking down the both these teams, the pitchers are overwhelming.
The pitchers are outstanding, and if we take a look at how these teams got to the state championship game, you'll see they haven't given up very many runs. First of all, for Miami Westminster, in 6 postseason games, they've outscored their opponents 105-4. And look at the last 3, 31-2 in the regionals over Florida Bible and Fort Lauderdale Westminster, and then in the semifinal, Liberty County, a 4.5-inning game as they dominated 11-0. As for Lakeland Santa Fe, in their road to the state championship, St. John Newman and Shorecrest both one-sided wins, and a great state semifinal with Oak Hall School from Gainesville. They had to score 1 in the 7th to send it into extra innings, and then 2 in the bottom of the 8th for a 5-4 victory, and that's how these teams got here.
You mentioned that last game, that last score, overtime. Does that mean a lot of momentum will be going their way?
Well, I think they've got some momentum. They've got some confidence. They also have some tired pitching, and that's going to be a factor in this ball game. Having to go those extra innings is really going to be a factor in today's state championship matchup.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the pitching in this championship game.
Our pitching matchup, you see there, Zach Diaz for Santa Fe. He pitched 3 innings in relief in yesterday's semifinal. How long can he go? How strong will he be? That's a big question mark. For Westminster, Carl K.O. Wiegand is well rested, an ERA of 1.12. He's ready to go.
Okay, Larry, and we're ready to go, and we'll be back with the lineup and the first pitch in the state championship right after this timeout on Sports Channel. Welcome back to the Ed Smith Sports Complex here in Sarasota, Florida. Beautiful, beautiful weather for baseball as we have the State 2A Championship game coming up for you. And right now, let's take a look at the starting lineup for Santa Fe Catholic, which will be the visiting team. Leading off playing shortstop, it's Scott Wiggs. Pitching, batting second, Zach Diaz. Playing left field, batting third, Lane Putnell. Catching, Matt Diaz. Yes, he's Zach's brother and bats cleanup. David Macca's in right field, batting fifth. Jason Dietrich is the designated hitter. Mike Proshuk will be at second base. Donovan Jones in center field. Adam Kaufman at third base. And yes, we have a 10th player for you. First baseman Chris Capetz will not bat. And to take a look now at the defense for this ball game, Larry Battelle.
Okay, Frank, defensively for Miami Westminster, the outfield left to right, James Davis, Jason Moore, and Jay McCoy. The infield has Jimmy Gutierrez and Ralph Pee-wee Lopez on the left side, Javier Miranda at second, Eugene Boyd at first, behind the plate, Bill Hacker, and on the mound is Carl K.O. Wiegand. K.O. came in relief in the state championship game a year ago as a sophomore and went 5+ innings of no-hit ball. He was outstanding in relief as Miami Westminster claimed the state championship. He has a record of 8 wins, 3 losses, a very strong earned run average of just 1.12, a good strikeout to walk ratio of better than 2-to-1. He's not overpowering. If Wiegand is effective, the slider will be down. He'll get a lot of ground ball outs. That's the key for Carl Wiegand on the mound. As we mentioned in our open, Wiegand was able to sit out the semifinal game in the dugout resting, while Diaz had to pitch 3 innings in relief, and that could be a factor this afternoon.
Okay, you can see the flags out in center field. The breeze is blowing really from right field over toward left, and really, Larry Battelle, I think it's strong enough to be a factor in this ball game, as most days are here in Florida.
Well, it certainly could be. The thing about it is this is a huge ballpark, 340 down the lines, 375 in the gaps, Haven't seen anyone come too close to hitting one out in any of the games played thus far. And so while the wind is blowing out, it might help you get a double, but it's going to take a real poke to get out of this very large ballpark here in Sarasota.
Okay, you might want to keep those figures in mind, and we're ready to go with Scott Wiggs to lead off. And Carl K.O. Wiegand ready to pitch to him. Starts him off with a breaking ball that's in for a called strike. Wiegand, as Larry Vitale mentioned to you, relies on a slider, breaking pitch, off-speed pitches. He can't afford to get behind. Wiggs, good batting average, as you can see right there, 376. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. When you pitcher like Wiegand, Larry, you can't afford to get behind hitters. You got to stay on top.
He wants to be able to set up the slider. If he has to throw too many fastballs behind on the count, it could be a tough day.
1-2 now. Of course, people watching, listen, hey, control is the key to any pitcher. It really is, but a power pitcher with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball or 85-mile-an-hour fastball can afford to get behind. Right side, that's going to go through for a base hit. So Wiggs is on to lead things off.
Little chopper right side. A bit of a mistake made on the right side of the infield by Miami Westminster Christian. The first baseman, Eugene Boyd, did not break for the ball. That's really his ball to cut off in the hole. He thought about it, decided not to go after it, and it was too far to the left of Miranda for him to flag it down. Wiggs steals a lot of bases. He's been bothered by a groin injury, but has over 20 this year, had over 30 last year. So got to keep an eye on a base runner who has over 55 stolen bases over the past 2 seasons.
I'd say so. Here's the pitcher, Zach Diaz, bats as he throws left-handed. A .438 batting average for the season. And there's that little slider in there at the knees for a called strike. Diaz is not a power hitter. He's not had a home run all year. You know, Larry, you see more baseball probably here in Florida now than I do, but it's my belief you find a left-hand hitter, whether he's high school or college, that hits a few home runs, you got a pretty powerful hitter, because in most cases the wind is going to be against him.
Well, I'll tell you, if you got anybody who can hit it a long way, you've got a bonus. There's such a premium on power these days.
And you can see right there the Wiegand is thinking about Wiggs. The base runner first. Take another look. That was close play, Larry.
Quick move by Wiegand. Puts the throw a little on the home plate side. If that throw's on the outfield side, he might have had it.
He might have. That evens the count up at a ball and a strike. As Larry mentioned to you, Diaz pitched in relief to get him here. Safe at first.
Way to work it, Scott. Way to work it.
Coach John Carpenter does something that I guess I have heard of it, but you don't hear of it too often. I'll talk about it in a second. That is a ball. Running counts at 2-1. Usually, well, in high school, usually your pitcher will bat, because very often your pitcher is also the best hitter on the ball club. But here he's letting the pitcher bat for himself using a DH, and his first baseman does not bat. That's chopped right side, and now the first baseman does make the correct play and gets back there in time. And that time it looked like Wiegand was a little slow getting over to cover.
Wiegand did get over slowly, but again, Eugene Boyd has got to be more decisive playing first base. You know, defense is just like any other aspect of the game. If you make up your mind, you're off to a good start. He comes in, he looked over towards second, and then he raced the batter, Diaz, to the base. He should have gone straight up the baseline, cut him off. Then you can trot back to the bag instead of giving Diaz a chance to beat him.
Turned into a close play. No sacrifice, of course, on a full swing, and this is Lane Putnell. Strike one, breaking ball. Putnell, the left fielder. Batted 4 1/4 for the season. He's a senior. 1 home run, 24 runs batted in. One out. With Wiggs at second, you think he might be a threat to try to steal third? I wouldn't think so with the number 3 hitter up. Ground ball to shortstop. even though the ball was hit in front of him. Wiggs makes it over to third, and Putnell is out, 6-3. Two down for Matt Diaz, the catcher.
Frank, the Crimson Hawks want to be aggressive. They want to show that they belong in this ball game with Miami Westminster, and the best way to do that, when you get a guy on the bases, let him run. Now, Wiggs did not try to steal with Zach Diaz at the plate. Putnell swung at the second pitch, didn't give him much of a chance, but they've got a man at third if they can push one across.
Two down. And the pitch comes in a bit high to Matt Diaz. Matt, slightly better hitter than his brother. Matt has batted .505 for the season. Foul back and out of play. He's got a quick bat. Matt, tall, rather slender, 6'1", just under 180 pounds. Well, he's got 2 more years to play.
Yeah, he's a good-looking prospect. I think the pro scouts are going to watch him very closely.
Right side, base hit, run's going to score. McCoy will get the ball back in as Wiggs scores from third. Now you go back, you look at 2 moves. First of all, the move letting Wiggs get on. Then the second move, letting Wiggs go from second to third on the ground ball. If he's at second base, I don't think he scores on that base hit.
Nice inside-out swing by the batter, Matt E. Diaz. Grounded through the right side for a base hit. Wiggs runs awfully well. We certainly would have had a play at the plate if there had been a runner at second, but that aggressive play on the grounder by Putnell. A lot of guys won't try to go to third on a grounder left side. Wiggs did it, creates a run.
Even as the ball was hit in front of him. David Macca now, the right fielder, and booted for a moment by Gutierrez, and cannot get the play. Gutierrez should be charged with an error on that, I would say. And he is.
But Jimmy Gutierrez again makes 2 mistakes on this play. First of all, the third baseman, who is headed to the University of Miami, doesn't come up with the ball cleanly. That's not a crime. Now his play is to first. You can't get a lead runner. No, 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 Jimmy, throw it to first. He had time to get Macca, had no chance to get Diaz at second base.
Matter of panicking just a little bit once the ball got away from him. Here's Jason Dietrich, the designated hitter. And Dietrich takes a strike. One thing about this good weekend, he's getting that first pitch over for a strike. Dietrich, a junior, batting .394 for the year. Little power, 3 homers, 21 runs batted in. High chopper off the plate, fielded by the pitcher. And not off his plate, but off his foot. So that is a foul ball.
Well, Dietrich not limping at all, so it must not have hit his foot all that hard. Normally, something comes down on your foot hard enough to bounce that high, and you're walking around like Walter Brennan.
Yeah.
But Dietrich must be a tough one.
Your partner here walks sort of like Walter Brennan. Let's leave Walter out. Maybe a little worse, more like Chester. All right, he's still alive with a 2-strike count, and that's out of play. What a nice man Walter Brennan was. I had the opportunity to meet him. I know it's name dropping, doesn't mean a whole lot, but you imagine his name, one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life.
How about that? I watched him a bunch.
I'm sorry?
I watched him a bunch.
Oh, yeah. You're a big TV watcher, aren't you?
A real big TV. Cost me a fortune.
And the fastball got him. 1 run. On 2 base hits, the run will not be earned. And 2 men left on. After 1/2 inning of play, it's the Crimson Hawks 1, and the Warriors are coming to bat. And let me correct something I said to you. The run scored by Santa Fe is an earned run. And now the batting order for the Westminster Christian Warriors. Leading off playing shortstop, Pee Wee Lopez. James Davis in left field. The third baseman is Jimmy Gutierrez. Batting cleanup and playing center field, Jason Moore. Keith Bryce is the DH. Then Javier Miranda will be at second base. Eugene Boyd at first base, batting 7th. Bill Hacker, the catcher, bats 8th. And Jay McCoy, the right fielder, will bat ninth. And on the defense, Larry Battelle will talk about.
The outfield for Lakeland Santa Fe. In left field is Lane Putnell, Donovan Jones in center, and David Macca in right. The infield has Adam Kaufman at third, Scott Wiggs at short, the second baseman Mike Prochik, and Chris Capetz is over at first base. Matty Diaz, catching, and his brother Zach Diaz is on the mound. Zach Diaz is a left-hander. He's a senior who has signed a scholarship to play college baseball at Florida State University. This is a crafty left-hander, and you can see how crafty he's been. Look at that record, 12-1, 0.88 the earned run average. Diaz averaging well over a strikeout per inning. Those are the numbers for David Macca, a reliever. We may see Macca a little later on. Diaz pitched 3 innings in the semi. We'll see how strong he is today.
All right, this is Pee Wee Lopez leading off, and a ball thrown. I don't know why they call him Pee Wee. He's 6 feet tall, weighs 190 pounds. Don't look like Reese to me. There's that slow off-speed pitch, curveball for a strike, and it's 1-1 to Lopez. Lopez, a senior, .433 hitter for the year, and some pretty good power with 8 home runs. Base hit. He ripped that one right back up the middle. And Lopez is on. So just as the Hawks did in the top of the inning, the Warriors get their leadoff man on.
There's a pitch right up over the strike zone. Got that breaking ball up. He doesn't want it there. And Pee Wee Lopez, who is headed to the University of Miami on a baseball scholarship, but a youngster the pro scouts are looking at closely, leads off the ball game with a base hit.
Now James Davis, the left fielder. Davis, just a sophomore, batted .313 with a couple of homers and 18 runs batted in for the season. The batting average figures we give you were for the regular season. They do not include the one game in postseason play. Pretty healthy batting averages on this Westminster order. He bunts back out in front of the plate. The play will be at first base. And on the sacrifice, Lopez goes to second.
Rich Hoffman, the coach at Miami Westminster Christian, wants to answer that Lakeland Santa Fe run with one of their own right away here in the bottom half of the first inning. He doesn't want to see Santa Fe building up some confidence by playing a few innings up on the scoreboard. He wants to establish a little bit of dominance if he can. They've won so many state titles, 4 in the last 8 years, 5 overall. Let's see if Gutierrez can make the strategy pay off.
He's a senior, batted .523 for the season with 4 home runs, and takes a strike. I'll tell you, Rich Hoffman has made a lot of decisions, and most of them right, in his 27 years coaching at Westminster Christian. His record shows 630 wins, 176 losses. Make that 631 wins, including yesterday. It was quite a coincidence, though. All those trips, all those state titles, but never won back-to-back.
It's been all even numbers lately.
0-2. That's a very tantalizing pitch thrown by Zach Diaz. D-I-A-Z, but the preferred pronunciation of the Diaz family is Diaz and not Diaz, as you might suspect. Just outside. I'm just chuckling at the catcher's move, trying to pull that ball back in the strike zone for the umpire.
Yeah, I've heard of trying to frame it, but that was kind of a reconstruction.
Yeah, I think so. Out of play. Nice run by Chris Capetz, the first baseman, but no chance. Jimmy Gutierrez, 5'10", 160 pounds, a senior. Foul ball off the left side. I'm sort of interested in watching Matt Diaz, the catcher. He gives the side, Larry, and then he moves out to the outside. His whole body moves out, or at least on most pitches it does. Watch it, see there? See the little hop to his right? He brought another one back in.
Well, brother Zach's going to have to get it a little closer to the strike zone. They're trying to inside out Gutierrez, come in tight, then go away from him and try to get him giving up on the outside corner.
2-2 pitch. Inside with a breaking ball. And a full count. Out at second base, that big number 7 belongs to Pee Wee Lopez. Bright sunshine, as you can see. He swung at ball 4. 2 down.
Well, Zach Diaz trying to set up Gutierrez on the outside part of the plate. This time came in a little closer, still off the plate, but too close for Gutierrez to take it. He went after it and couldn't catch up.
So they're 2 down with a tying run at second. And the batter is Jason Moore, the center fielder. Foul ball will be out of play. Moore, 6-footer, 160 pounds. He's a sophomore. Hoffman's got a good team this year and a lot of youngsters on there coming back next year. So it just goes on and on and on at Westminster.
He does not rebuild, he reloads.
That's right. Very good line. May I borrow that some?
Please do.
There's a strike. 1-2 now, the count to Moore.
You know, very often a coach will try to get his players to think in terms of going the other way against an off-speed specialist like Diaz. Keep your hands back as late as possible to try to hit that ball the other way.
1-2 pitch. Came inside. 2-2. Out at second base, Pee Wee Lopez, single, moved up on a sacrifice bunt. And that's going to get him home, I do believe. He will score as the throw, I don't know where he was throwing that one. Boy, the right fielder, David Macca, threw that one completely out of play, and that will advance Moore all the way to third base. Single run batted in and a 2-base throwing error.
I don't know if David Macca was trying to prove to someone that he could reach the dugout on a fly, but that was just a horrible throw. First of all, it's a bad decision. He had no chance at all to get Pee Wee Lopez headed for the plate. Lopez runs very well. The ball was hit kind of softly into right field, and he just threw a fly ball into the dugout. You get the base you're going to, +1. He was headed towards second, so he gets on to third base with the potential go-ahead run for Miami Westminster.
And it is caught by Adam Kaufman. That was a bullet, and he speared it. 1 run on 2 hits, an error, and a man left on. At the end of 1, we're all tied up 1 apiece. Here's are all evened up, 1, 2, and 1. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error aside. As we go to the top of the second, and Mike Proshik will be leading off for Santa Fe Catholic. Strike 1, got the outside corner. That would have been a tough pitch to try to hit. Proshik, a sophomore, 5'9", 150, batted .392 for the year with no homers. Checked his swing. Did he go around? They make an appeal call down to first base and get no reply because the plate umpire, in this case Charles Day, did not make the appeal. Now very belatedly he does, and the call will stand. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's his not so subtle way of telling the first base umpire, don't overrule me on this one.
That's a strike, and the count will be 1-2. Charlie Day is the home plate umpire. Mike Trotter is at first base, and Rusty Cummings is at third. This umpiring crew is out of Jacksonville, Florida. A ball away, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Frank, one of the best baseball arguments I ever saw was about an appeal play such as that, where one team just kept begging for an appeal. The home plate umpire said no, no, no. Finally, he went along with it, and the first base umpire overruled the home plate umpire. Half the dugout emptied out.
I'll bet. Into right field, base hit. Just a little half swing by Prochek. That'll be base hit number 3, given up by Carl K.O. Wiegert.
And they've all been between Miranda and Boyd on the right side. So the Santa Fe Catholic Crimson Hawks strategy is to take this good fastball of Wiegert. Don't try to pull him. Just go the other way, hit the ball solidly. Very sound strategy for John Carpenter and his team as they try to battle for a state championship.
Very disciplined hitting. Now the bunt down the third base line, foul off the bat of Donovan Jones, the center fielder. Donovan Jones, a senior. He's really a switch hitter. Batted .309 for the year with 1 homer and 14 runs batted in. There's only one man in this batting order that hit under 300 for the Hawks this year, and he'll be up next. A ball up high. It's interesting to see the pattern developing in this game. Play for that 1 run. Get the guy out, move him up.
I think that's really important to Santa Fe to be able to play like that, and Westminster just wanted to answer.
That is thrown away. That's something that should never happen. And they're going to have runners at second and third.
Well, Miranda and Lopez ran into each other. That's a mistake by Javier Miranda, the second baseman. We're going to have a bit of a discussion by the first base coach about interference, but the interference really was irrelevant. Let's take a look. High chopper off the bat of Jones. Hit and run, just putting the ball into play. Watch the middle infielders. That's the shortstop's ball. Whoops. And they wanted a little interference on Lopez, but that was irrelevant because the runner made it to third on the wild throw by Miranda anyway. So on that play, Lopez has got to take charge. I couldn't tell if he was calling for the ball, but he needs to call off his second baseman and go ahead and make that decision to call him off. Miranda's got to be aware that the shortstop crossing over has a much better angle on the grounder. No communication in the middle of the infield.
Certainly much better position. He could have stepped on second, thrown on to first base, and possibly gotten the double play. So everybody's having a meeting over at third base. Donovan Jones.
Rich Hoffman is probably trying to convince the umpiring crew that Prochek going down to second base got in the way of Miranda and Lopez. But again, if you're a fielder, you've got the right of way on a batted ball. But just because a guy runs in front of you, that's not interference. You have to go through the normal fielding of the play, and if there's contact, then it becomes interference. If you back off, well, then he didn't interfere with anything, and whether Miranda or Lopez changed their angle because of the base runner is not the fault of the base runner. That's the job of the fielder to go through fielding the play and let the collision take place if it's going to. The umpiring crew not persuaded by Rich Hoffman, and it'll stay a second and third nobody out situation for Santa Fe.
Meanwhile, the official score sees it as an error all the way. But an error on whom? Really should be, I think, on the second baseman there.
Yeah, we might need to see that replay again because they've told us error on the shortstop. I thought it was obvious, it appeared that Miranda is the one who fielded the ball.
Infield is drawn in. And the pitch to Kaufman, high and away, ball 1. We said Kaufman is the only man in this ball club hitting under 300, a .278 batting average. He is a senior, not a power hitter. Had only 36 at-bats during the regular season. So not an everyday player. Chops it right side. Infield in pays off. They hold the runner at third and get Kaufman, as Miranda had that ball hit right at him.
Right at him, but he executed the fundamentals properly. He came in on the big bounce, so he had the momentum coming toward the plate. The runner at third base, Prochuk, had no chance. He looked him right back to the bag, then made the quick flip over to first for the first down of the inning.
So we go to the top of the batting order for Scott Wiggs. Led off the game with a base hit and came in to score. And he's got another base hit through the right side. That's going to get one run in. They'll hold Jones up at third base as Prochuk scores. And Santa Fe Catholic takes a 2-1 lead. So Wiggs is now 2 for 2. Run scored and a run batted in.
4 base hits in the ball game for Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic. Every base hit has been between the first baseman and the second baseman. It'll be interesting to see if Rich Hoffman decides to start thinking about pinching that hole a little bit and saying, okay, if that's your strategy, fine. We're going to squeeze that a little bit and make it tougher for you to get through, because at this point, that's exactly what the Santa Fe club is aiming at, that hole on the right side.
Still only one out. They have a meeting on the mound. With one out and a runner at third base.
Finally, Charlie Day's going to go out there and say, fellas, this is enough. This has been a long half inning already, with a pair of discussions following the play in which the infielders Miranda and Lopez collided with one another. We're going to get some activity also in the bullpen. Now, we cannot see the bullpens from here, but talking with Rich Hoffman yesterday, his next guy is John Miller, a right-hander who just happens to be undefeated on the season. And I would imagine it's Miller that is starting to loosen up for Miami Westminster.
Just happens to be, huh?
Yeah. He's the number 3 starter.
Had a good look at John Carpenter coming off the field. There's a high chopper. They get the out at second base and get the double play, and I don't know what in the world the guy at third base was doing. He should have been coming home. Anyway, Santa Fe takes the lead with one run on 2 hits. There was an error and a man left. So we go to the bottom half of the second with the score: Santa Fe 2 and Westminster 1. Bottom half of the second inning, Santa Fe 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. Westminster 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 errors. And it'll be the bottom half of the batting order coming up for the Warriors of Westminster: Javier Miranda, Eugene Boyd, and Bill Hacker. Shadows beginning to creep on out over the infield, and the pitcher's mound very soon will be in shade from one of the light standards. Ball 1. Miranda, the second baseman, wears the number 13, a junior, batted .362 for the year with no home run. Nobody on this Westminster club batted under 300. Fly ball center field. Jones falls, but he's able to recover and makes a very fine play. It started out to be a routine play till he fell down, and then it became sort of a circus catch out there, Larry.
Well, I tell you, remember how Joe DiMaggio made it look so easy? Well, Donovan Jones is not Joe DiMaggio. He made it look tough. He slipped and he fell, raced back, lunged, caught it in the web, and then held on as he hit the ground. Almost turned a routine out into a 3-base hit, but give him credit. Donovan Jones stayed with it and made the play.
So there's one down for Eugene Boyd, and he takes a strike. Boyd is a senior. The first baseman batted .371 for the year, 1 home run, and 21 runs batted in. Ball out of no balls and 2 strikes. You look at the batting order for Westminster Christian. Instead, we look at Zach Diaz. Right down Broadway. I don't know how in the world he could take that for strike 3.
Well, when Zach Diaz keeps throwing changeup and curve and changeup, and you're looking for something off speed, off speed, or real slow, then he comes in with the fastball, which might be 82, 83 miles an hour, but you're frozen because you're trying to sit on the curve, and if you guess breaking stuff and you get a fastball, you have no shot.
Here's Bill Hacker, and he looks at a strike. Hacker, the catcher, big kid at 6'2" and 185 pounds. Batted .318, some power, 3 home runs. Oddity, I think, on this Westminster club, the leading home run hitter on the club for the season was Pee Wee Lopez, the shortstop and leadoff batter.
You got to go back to Bobby Bonds to find a guy who hit leadoff and could lead his team in stolen bases and home runs.
I was just thinking about Bobby Bonds. He'd also lead your team in strikeouts.
That he did. He still has the Yankee record.
I think so.
For one season.
You know the Yankee stats better than I do, and I was there for 18 years. Of course, you were born there. That's got a lot to do with it.
Grew up in the Bronx.
Well, I mean, you were born a Yankee fan, grew up a Yankee fan. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. And that is strike 3, and the 3rd strikeout for Zach Diaz. 3 up, 3 down to go the Warriors, and after 2, it's the Westminster Warriors 1, but Santa Fe Catholic 2. We go to the 3rd inning here at the Ed Smith Sports Complex in Sarasota, Florida. Santa Fe leading Westminster 2-1. Unusual, I think, Larry, to have 3 errors committed by the 2 teams here in the first couple of innings.
Well, these are supposed to be the 2 best in the state, and they got here by not throwing the ball around and not giving up runs. But when you're playing at this level for a championship, not all that unusual to see a team battle the defensive problems. In fact, Lakeland Santa Fe committed 3 errors, allowed 3 unearned runs in the first inning of their state semifinal before settling down to play very good baseball against Gainesville Oak Hall.
Lane Putnell leads it off for Santa Fe Catholic. They went through the season winning 25, losing 6. K.O. Wiegand comes in with a fastball, 1-1. A ball and 2 strikes. Putnell grounded out to the shortstop his first time up. And just got the outside corner. That will be the 2nd strikeout for Carl Wiegand.
Let's see Bill Hacker help his pitcher a little bit. A little bit outside. No, just try not to move very much. Snag it in there. That ball's about 8 inches off the outside corner, but hey, give him style points. He got the call for his pitcher, just got another one.
There's another one, same pitch, same place. You know, if I were Wiegand, I'd get thrown in there all day until it backfires on me. Matt Diaz, the catcher, singled and drove in a run in the first inning. Now he's tried a little bit too much there.
Yeah, I mean, you aim for the on-deck circle. I think you're getting greedy.
I think so. You think Charlie says we give to the needy and not the greedy?
Could well be. Tell you, Matty Diaz is a good-looking young hitter. He keeps his hands back. He seems to have very good patience up there at the plate. I haven't seen him go after anything outside the strike zone.
Slightly open stance. He gets a good look at the pitch. That's popped into shallow right. And it's dropped in fair territory by Jay McCoy, the right fielder. Diaz goes to second and stops there. And another ruling for the official score.
They're going to call an error on Jay McCoy out in right field. I think that's a very tough error. He had a long way to run. Watch this ball again. Good pitch inside. Didn't get his arms extended. A long run, but he got there. Went off his glove, and McCoy, instead of being the hero for the nice sliding catch, ends up committing a two-base error, the third error of this ball game for Miami Westminster. And again, Santa Fe's got a runner in scoring position.
And again, the ball was hit to the right side, which is sort of academic in this situation. David Macca reached on an error in the first inning, and he takes a strike. I think they've taken the error away now, and they've changed it to a two-base hit for Matty Diaz. It'll make everybody happy, especially Diaz.
I don't think it does much for the pitcher. That turns increases the chance of an earned run being charged to him. But I think that's more fair at the high school level. I don't think you can charge an error when a guy has to run about 60 feet and make a sliding attempt.
Matty Diaz now with two base hits. The batter is David Macca. And the pitch blown away from him.
Get at the plate.
Out at second base with a double, Matty Diaz.
Diaz now 5 for 5 in the state tournament.
And a fake pickoff move out to second base as Lopez, the shortstop, tried to sneak in. Pretty good cut taken by Macca there to no avail. Third strikeout for Wiegand.
Wiegand is actually having his most success getting calls off the outside corner or coming in tighter on the hitters. That one's right over the inside edge, and the right-handed hitter Macca couldn't get the bat barrel out there to get it.
They'll bring up Jason Dietrich, who struck out to end the first inning. And he fouls the first pitch off. Dietrich 0 for 1. After hitting .304 for the season. Santa Fe not a power hitting ball club by any manner of means. That one hit the nub of the bat. Did not hit his hand. He's trying to claim that it hit his hand, and I don't think that's going to be allowed. And now Charlie Day wants some help on the call. Did it hit the bat or hit the hand?
I thought it got his forearm, right below the wrist. Maybe got the nub of the... Boy, that's tough to call. That's tough to call either way.
They're going to rule he was hit by the pitch. I'll tell you, if the plate umpire can't tell on something like that, it's awfully hard for the baseline umpires. That time it did look like it might have hit his arm. Who's to know? The ruling is he goes down to first base, hit with a pitch.
And then the question then is one of sound, and the only guy who's going to hear it very well is Charles Day behind home plate. He immediately came out and asked for help. Rich Hoffman says, you asked the wrong guys. If you asked me, I'd told you he fouled it off.
Sure. Hoffman's out there trying to give him a lesson in foul balls right now. You notice he's not rubbing anywhere.
No, I think it probably got the bat handle. Might have touched the soft part of his left hand on the bottom of the bat, but more foul ball than bruise.
Mike Prochuk now. Prochuk single leading off the second inning and scored the run by which Santa Fe Catholic leads 2-1.
You know, the reason I said I thought it might have caught his forearm is that's because that's what Dietrich pointed to. When he claimed it hit him, he said, hit me right here. Well, it didn't hit him where he said it did, but he's at first base.
Up the middle and played almost nicely by the shortstop, but not in time. That's got to be another error. Pee-wee Lopez not playing shortstop like his namesake. He's got to have gotten that nickname from Reese and not from his size, because he's over 6 feet.
He probably just has a big brother somewhere. There's a bad hop. You got to stay with it. Again, he's got to force it second. Doesn't look that way. Double clutched on the throw, and finally Prochuk was able to beat it out. So it's an error. That's 3 errors. They took the one away from McCoy. Gutierrez, Lopez, and Miranda in the infield each have committed an error in this ball game.
So that leaves everybody, leaves only Eugene Boyd at first base with an unblemished record on the infield. Bases loaded for Donovan Jones. He reached on there, his first at bat, and that's a strike. Donovan Jones hit a ground ball at the second base. That was the one where Lopez and Miranda ran together, and I think rightfully so, the error was given to Miranda, the second baseman. 1-1. Santa Fe Catholic leading 2-1 and threatening with the bases loaded, but 2 down. Fouled straight back. A ball and 2 strikes.
But Frank, the way the first 2.5 innings of this game have gone, got to be a confidence boost for Santa Fe Catholic. The Crimson Hawks have come out here. They've been steadier in the field. They've been more disciplined at the plate. They've been going the other way, not trying to pull the ball. And I really like the way they've played the first couple of innings of this ball game.
No question about it. High and away with an off-speed pitch, 2-2. Checking the base runners, Matty Diaz on at third base, Jason Dietrich at second, and Mike Proshuk over at first. On the inside corner, a beautiful pitch from Carl Wiegand, and he strikes out the side, gives up a double, hits a batter, and another man reaches on an error to leave the bases loaded. So we go to the bottom half of the third with Santa Fe leading Westminster 2-1. We're ready for the bottom half of the third inning. Santa Fe 2 runs, 5 hits, an error. Westminster 1 run, 2 hits, and 3 errors. Along with Larry Vittel, I'm Frank Messer. Larry, I'll be honest with you, I never thought I'd be over here again, but I'm happy to be here with you. Jay McCoy to lead off, and he looks at a breaking pitch for a strike. McCoy hit .352 this year. 1 home run, 14 runs batted in. He swung at a pitch well outside the strike zone, and it's 0-2.
That's what I was talking about, the patience that Santa Fe is showing at the plate. So far, Westminster, the team that's in its 7th Final Four in 8 years, is the jumpier of the two.
Well, Diaz figured, well, he went for that last pitch way outside. Let's try it again. And I'm sure that his coach, Rich Hoffman, as we are, oh, look at that slow curveball in there for a call, strike 3. He struck out 3 men in a row and 4 in the ball game now. But I was going to say, Larry, I'm sure that we'll take another look at this pitch.
Well, you want to try that backdoor curveball. Is anybody home? Knock, knock. Yep. Charles Day said the side door was open, so come on in. Nice curveball from Diaz. And he's really pitching well here in the early going.
Here's Pee Wee Lopez now, and he looks at a strike. I started saying a moment ago what everybody is looking at right now is to see any signs of Zach Diaz tiring after his pitching yesterday, but so far none. That one ripped foul off the right side. A ball, no balls and 2 strikes.
What Diaz is doing is going right after hitters. He's not messing around with a lot of pitches. He's only had 1 3-2 count on a hitter, and mostly he's just throwing strikes, challenging Westminster to hit him.
And that is his 4th strikeout in a row and 5th in the ball game. And the 4 strikeouts in a row, 3 have been uncalled, 3rd strike.
You see the edge of the plate out there set up. Your catcher doesn't move a bit. Sometimes you're going to get that call, and with 2 strikes, Lopez has got to be a little bit less fussy about pitches and be more aggressive up there. There's his dad keeping up with the pitch count.
Don't you know he's got to be proud? Got 2 sons, 1 pitching, 1 catching. James Davis, the batter, sacrificed his first time at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. There were 2 outs, nobody on. Santa Fe Catholic leading by a score of 2-1. 2-1. Davis laid down a beautiful bunt in the first inning, which led to a run scored. He moved Lopez over to second base, bounces this one one hop to third. Adam Kaufman guns it across, and that will retire the side. 3 up, 3 down, and 7 in a row have now been retired by Zach Diaz. At the end of 3, though, it's Santa Fe 2, Westminster 1. At the Ed Smith Sports Complex in Sarasota, Florida, the Florida State High School Baseball Championships. The broadcast rights to today's telecast have been granted to Sports Channel Florida by the Florida High School Activities Association solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this program without the express written consent of Sports Channel Florida is prohibited. And I do believe we have a new right fielder. There's your line score. Santa Fe leading 2-1. Foul back and out of play. I feel like I saw Kurt Brooker move out to right field, replacing Jay McCoy. So there's Mr. Brooker you just caught sight of. Ouch. That one got the throwing hand. A little sting right here, Larry. Ooh, keep that meat hand out of the way.
Well, with nobody on base, you don't need to do that. That's just discretion is the better part of valor.
I would
Bill
say.
Packer trying too hard on that one.
And that is all for Adam Kaufman. He'll bring up Scott Wiggs. 5 strikeouts now for Kurt Wygant. There's not been a walk issued in this game. There has been 1 hit batter, and not a questionable call. And between the 2 pitchers, they've struck out 10 men, 5 each. Wiggs is 2 for 2. He's had a hand in both runs scored by Santa Fe. He singled and scored a run in the first inning, and he singled to drive in the go-ahead run in the second. A little bit away from him. 3 balls and no strikes. As soon as I say there's not been a walk in the ball game, immediately Wygant falls behind 3-0.
It's your fault.
It's all my fault. You know, a coach who really believes a broadcaster could control a ball game is Eddie Cardieri at the University of South Florida.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah. And foul ball. Nice ducking out there by Rusty Cummings, the third base umpire. Yeah, take a bow, Rusty. He took his cap off, waved it to the crowd. Better he take it off than the ball take it off. There's Rusty.
They did a good job getting out of the way, but I'm not sure he turned around in time to see the ball hit. He looked straight down and then said, whoops, I got to call that ball. Looked over his shoulder. It was about 3-4 feet wide.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Great call by an American League umpire many years ago on a controversial home run. The ball was obviously foul by maybe 10, 15 feet. But it was called a home run, and the last words of the umpire were, the last time I saw it, it was fair. He's hit with a pitch. It is not a walk, it's hit batsman, so he still had not had a walk in the ball game. Yes, sir, the last time I saw it, it was fair.
Probably didn't work very well with the opposing manager.
No.
I see Wiggs. He opens up the stance, then closes in. Really very little chance to get out of the way. And Scott Wiggs, who's a good base stealer, is on at first. Now, Diaz has not given Wiggs a chance to get running at the plate. Let's see if Diaz takes a couple to let Wiggs try to swipe second.
Diaz is 0 for 2, grounded out to first and grounded into a double play. Well, he took that one. That was about a foot outside for a ball. He showed bunt. But with 1 out, I doubt that he'll be bunting. Diaz, in his own right, being a good hitter for the year, batting .438, but not a home run hitter. Now he shows bunt again. Maybe he is going to bunt. He's got Gutierrez moved in at third base. Good move there, and then try to slap a ball by him, perhaps. All those things are much easier said than done.
Isn't everything?
Well, I'll have to ponder that. How about I give you an answer in the second game? Which will be by...
That's a whole heap of pondering you got planned.
North Florida Christian and Keystone Heights. There he goes. And a stolen base for Wiggs. Well, you mentioned, Larry, that he can run.
Got a good jump. Not much of a chance for the catcher, Bill Hacker. And now on a 3-0 pitch, do you give Diaz the green light to try to drive one in? I think probably so.
You think so? You know, we used to debate that. There's that pitch. It was way outside. Good pitch to throw, but still the tremendous jump. We used to debate that. Should you let a guy hit 3-0? Bill White, with whom I worked 15 years, said never let a man hit 3-0. He said he'll get just as good a pitch 3-1 as he gets 3-0. And he won't be quite as anxious. We asked Yogi Berra one time, a discussion after a ball game. Yogi, what do you think about letting a guy hit 3-0? And Yogi said, geez, I don't know. I never had 3-0.
He never saw 3 pitches he wouldn't swing at.
That's right. That's right. Bless his heart, one of the truly, truly great people. Excellent ball player, fine gentleman, and funny.
Well, Rich Hoffman had a little meeting on the mound with his infield. He doesn't want to see another run cross the plate with his team down by 1 in the middle of the ball game.
Pitch to Diaz. He shows bunt again and takes a pitch all the way for a count of 3-1.
Keep in mind, high school ball is 7 innings, so we're now at the midway point of the ball game in the top of the 4th.
He walked him. So now there are runners at first and second, and Wygant will start anew with the number 3 hitter, Lane Putnell.
Well, you don't like putting guys on. Both Wiggs and Diaz getting free trips to the bases. Wiggs by being hit and Diaz by drawing a walk. Putnell and Matty Diaz coming up now. 2 pretty good hitters. Key opportunity here for Lakeland.
But the fact is they're right-handers, too. That helps. Now the play at second base for 1. Back over to first. Double play, and the side is retired. Pretty good play there by Miranda and Lopez. No runs, no hits. There were no errors, and a man left on. After 3.5, the score, Santa Fe 2 and Westminster 1. Santa Fe leading Westminster 2-1, and quite a double play to end the top half of the 4th inning, Larry.
Really good execution here. You get the high chopper. Miranda's got to feed Lopez a good ball because he's got a good runner, Diaz, coming down. Now watch, Diaz slides in. Up goes the shortstop. Lopez throws a strike. Excellent stretch by Boyd. Perfect execution all the way around.
I'll tell you something, Larry Vitale. You called that double play so very beautifully. Why don't you step in here and take care of the rest of this ball game 2-1?
Don't mind if I do, Frank Messer. Thank you very much. First pitch in the bottom of the 4th is a curve up high. Ball 1 to Jimmy Gutierrez, who struck out his first time on a 3-2 pitch. Noteworthy in that it's the only 3-2 pitch Diaz has thrown today. He's had outstanding control. That curve is in for a strike. It's 1-1. Zach Diaz, through 3 innings, had thrown only 36 pitches, and the lower his pitch count, the less likely it is the 3 innings of work yesterday will work against him late in this ball game, but he still has a long way to go. 1-1 curve, grounded left side. Scott Wiggs on to Capets, and there's one away. Chris Capets over at first base doesn't get his name mentioned very much because he's not in the batting order. He's the guy who gets DH'd for. but he was able to record the putout over there at first base. And Diaz, after giving up a couple of singles in the first inning, has settled down and retired the last 8 batters in a row as he faces the last man to reach on him, Jason Moore. Moore with an RBI single in the first, and he takes a little bit high for ball 1. This is a young ball club for Westminster. Moore, the center fielder and cleanup hitter, just a sophomore. Grounds it foul off the end of the bat up the first base side. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
I guess there's a lot of baseball talk around the Diaz household, around the dinner table with Matt and Zach, pitcher and catcher, and Dad, a coach.
Probably nothing but, especially this time of year. High tight with a fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jason Moore. 1 out, bottom of the 4th inning. The Class 2A state championship game. Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic leading Miami Westminster Christian by a score of 2-1. Each team scored a run in the first. Lakeland Santa Fe added a run in the top of the 2nd inning, and that's where we stand. Got a ball loose out on the field. They'll track that down, and we'll be set to continue. There's a line drive right center field on the run, but not getting to it. Both Macca and Jones, a one-hopper nicely played by Donovan Jones, or rather Macca, who grabbed it and threw it in quickly, holding Jason Moore to a single.
Excellent play there by David Macca. He got a good jump on the ball. He couldn't catch it, but he played it very well on the bounce. That is the center fielder there, Jones. There is Macca cutting Jones off, grabbing the ball and setting himself up for a strong throw to hold Jason Moore to a single, his 2nd hit, and that broke the 8 in a row retired.
You get an idea how big this park is. That ball pretty well hit to right center field, and it didn't come close to the warning track. Here's Keith Bryce stepping in. That pitch is in there for a strike.
Well, how these kids feel about that? I doubt if any of them have played in a ballpark this big all season long.
When I've talked to kids after high school football games and they play in the huge stadiums or have in past years, they love the experience of playing in a big-time facility. They know the park's bigger. They know there are thousands of fans cleverly disguised as empty seats. But, you know, it's just, for a lot of them, the best stadium they'll ever play in. And they know that. And they're normally very excited about it. 0-1 pitch, misses outside, gets away from Diaz, but not enough for the runner to advance. The count's 1 ball and 1 strike to Bryce.
Quick recovery by Matty Diaz.
Now, Matty goes by Matt and then a capital E. It's not his middle name. He doesn't have a middle name. His name is Matthew. He called him Matty, but he didn't like the way it looked with Matty with a Y. So it's Matt and then the big E, Matty Diaz. There's Zach Diaz with the big curve, and it's strike 2. Zach Diaz looking for his 13th victory of the season. Headed to Florida State. I think Mike Martin likes the idea of bringing in a pitcher with a 9-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
I'll tell you what, he has a nose for those pitchers. He's always got a good pitching staff there at Florida State.
Oh, tremendous. He's had #1 picks like Paul Wilson, Chris Roberts. He's got a couple of guys who might be #1s this year, Jonathan Johnson and David Yoakum.
I have not seen his team this year.
1-2 curve. Ooh, little high. Bryce might be feeling a little fortunate at the plate right now. The count 2-2.
Both Diaz brothers wanted that pitch in their favor. It was a good pitch.
Bryce went 2 for 2 in the semifinal win over Liberty County. As fly down the right field line, foul territory, long run, Capets, but he won't get to it. Gave it a little chase and is able to flag it down. The count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Westminster Christian scored 6 in the second, 5 in the third, and coasted to a 11-0 victory over Liberty County in the state semifinals, a game in which the game ended after 4.5 innings because of the 10-run rule in high school baseball. Meanwhile, Santa Fe Catholic had to come from behind to beat Gainesville Oak Hall School in order to reach the championship game. They trailed 3-0 in the 5th inning, scored 2 in the bottom of the 5th, and then 1 in the bottom of the 7th to tie it. After Oak Hall scored 2 in the 8th, Santa Fe Catholic scored 2 in the bottom of the 8th for the win. 2-2 pitch, grounded right side. Krochuk will not look towards second. He'll take the sure out at first. 2 down on the play. Jason Moore gets into scoring position. So a runner at second with 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Miami Westminster Christian looking for a base hit to try to tie this ball game. They trail 2-1. They've got this at bat and 3 more against left-hander Zach Diaz. Here's Javier Miranda. Ball hit off the end of the bat. Backing up to glove it is Capets. And on the soft line drive, Santa Fe retires Miami Westminster Christian in the bottom of the 4th inning. No runs, a hit, a man left on base. We head to the 5th in the Class 2A state championship game with Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic holding a 2-1 lead. More baseball action after this timeout on Sports Channel. Well, we head to the 5th inning in a 7-inning ball game. Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic will try to add to a 2-1 advantage. They scored in the 1st and 2nd innings, 1 earned run, 1 unearned run. And it'll be the middle 3rd of the order due up here in the 5th. Started out with Matty Diaz, and he takes the first pitch on the inside edge for strike 1. Diaz singled in the 1st to drive in a run. Had a bloop double in the 3rd inning off the glove of Jay McCoy, but was left stranded at 3rd. 0-1 pitch in there for a strike, nothing in 2 the count. K.O. Wiegand, right-hander. Got him at 69 pitches here, 2 pitches into the 5th inning. There's a chopper right side. Miranda gets it before the second bounce, makes it an easy play, and there's 1 down. Boy, Frank, so many times you'll see a guy just stand there, wait for the second bounce, and just pray that it's a good bounce.
You wait for that second bounce, sometimes you just have to take a bite out of the baseball. As you'll see the second baseman, Miranda, make a very fine play right here. Charging the ball, not having to worry about a second bounce, playing a big bounce and getting his man easily.
1 out. Here's David Macca, the right fielder. He's 0 for 2. Got good power. He has hit 5 home runs this year. Big swing, but he comes up empty. Strike 1. Santa Fe Catholic in the state Final Four for the 3rd consecutive year. They lost in the semis in '93, the championship game to Miami Westminster Christian last year, and they're in their 2nd straight title game this year, and there's strike 2 to Macca.
Santa Fe is a ball club that hit only 14 home runs all year.
0-2 pitch, fouled straight back. Count holds, nothing in 2.
Of those 14, Macca and Wiggs had 5 apiece. Doesn't leave too many to be spread around the rest of the guys.
Santa Fe 26-5, Westminster 29-4. Hot foul out of play. So Macca fouls off another one. Count holding, nothing in 2. On deck, the DH Jason Dietrich. Beautiful day here in Sarasota if you like it hot. It's been extremely warm. Temperature about 94 at game time. There's a called 3rd strike with a fastball on the outside corner. Strikeout number 6 for Wiegand.
Take another look at it. Well, he's getting that outside corner, isn't he? Of his 6 strikeouts, 4 have been on called 3rd strikes. Only 2 swinging.
There's a fastball, a little bit outside, ball 1 to Dietrich, who struck out in the 1st inning and was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. Right-handed hitter. Chops that one up the middle. The shortstop Lopez handles, flips over to first, and it's a very quick and easy inning for K.O. Wiegand on the mound for Miami Westminster as Santa Fe goes down 1-2-3. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Santa Fe from Lakeland still leading by 1 run over Miami Westminster, the defending state champ. We're at Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota, the side of the Florida High School Baseball Championships here in the 2A title game. We head to the bottom of the 5th with a score of 2-1. More high school championship baseball action comes your way tonight at 11:30. It'll be the 3A title game between North Florida Christian from Tallahassee and Keystone Heights. And then join us Sunday at 9 o'clock for the 5A championship and at 11:30 for the 6A title, all right here on Sports Channel, the home of the Florida High School Championships. First pitch in the bottom of the 5th is down low, ball 1 to Eugene Boyd. Boyd, Hacker, and Brooker, the bottom third of the order, due up for Miami Westminster Christian here in the 5th inning.
And all 3 men have struck out every time up.
Boyd 1 for 3, scored twice in the semifinal. That pitch is a little low. It's 2-0. Zach Diaz has not seen too many 2-0 counts, and now little noise coming out of that Westminster dugout. That's John Miller, who is an outstanding pitcher, has not had a chance to pitch in this state Final Four, so he's become a cheerleader. Inside, ball 3.
You mentioned Miller. He won 9 without a loss this year with an earned run average of 1.02. He's got another year to go.
All their top 4 pitchers are all juniors for this Miami club. 3-0 deliveries right in there for a strike. It's 3-1. Zach Diaz has not had to work all that hard. Got him at 58 pitches right now. That's a good pace for a guy pitching a little bit on the tired side. There's the pitch, a little bit high, ball 4.
That is the first walk in this ball game.
Diaz had struck out 5. Now he sends a runner down to first with nobody out. Let's see how Miami Westminster plays it. Rich Hoffman, their head coach, with 5 state championships to his credit, will use a substitute runner as Mark Walker will go in and run. Now you can sub in and out. That can either be a substitute runner in which you can substitute back, or it can be a courtesy runner. The difference being the 2 rules are you can have 1 courtesy runner per inning. You can substitute a guy in once a game and then back out again in that spot.
What is really the purpose for a rule like that?
I think more than anything else to get more kids to play.
Yeah, I was going to say that could be the only logical reason I could see for it.
And for that reason alone, I like it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You want it. Kids come out, work hard all year. You want them to get in some ball games.
So let's see how they play it. Here's Hacker, the catcher. Nice bunt up the first base side, but it kicks foul on him for strike 1. This is a guy you would not want to find out is in your group when you show up for a scramble golf tournament. You look at your list, oh gosh, we got the Hacker.
Yeah.
Of course, people usually have to pay good money to keep me out of their foursomes. No balls and a strike to Bill Hacker. Throw over to first, and Boyd is right on top of the bag, being held on by Capets.
One thing about golf, though, you don't really have to be good at it to enjoy it.
But it helps. 0-1 pitch, bunts right through it for strike 2. Execution is so important in this game, and in a 1-run baseball game particularly. And Miami Westminster can't get the bunt down. Now let's see what Hacker can do with the 0-2 count against him. Nobody out, runner at first, bottom of the 5th inning. 2-1 our score. He's going to try to bunt and gets it down. Nice bunt. Diaz looks to second, throws the changeup to the first baseman, Capets, for the out. And there's 1 down. But with 2 strikes on him, Rich Hoffman gambles a little bit and has Hacker bunting, and he executes.
Well, he didn't hack at that one, did he?
Indeed. That'll bring up Kurt Brooker, who entered the game in the top of the 4th inning. He'll bat for the first time. Jay McCoy started in this slot and struck out back in the 3rd inning. 300 hitter, just a couple notches above that. 20 runs batted in. And he takes a fastball for strike 1.
I know, Larry, you probably heard me say this before, but there's sort of an unwritten thing in baseball that 8 out of 10 of the men who walk leading off an inning will score.
Pickoff play at second base. In ahead of the tag is Boyd. Well, I tell you, if you walk a guy to lead off, You're just asking for trouble, especially trying to protect the lead. It was not Boyd, correct me, that was Mark Walker, the pinch runner. Down at second base. There's a beautiful curve for a strike 2 to Kurt Brooker. There you see Mark Walker, the junior. The runner down at second, throwing in for Eugene Boyd. We expect Boyd to be subbed back into the game to play first base in the 6th inning. 0-2 pitch, fastball called strike 3. Looked like Brooker was guessing the whole time he was up there, and he guessed wrong each time and took 3 strikes from Zach Diaz.
Look at it again. He wasn't guessing, he was anticipating.
He was hoping.
I think you're right.
2 out, and here's Pee Wee Lopez.
6 strikeouts.
Lopez singled and scored in the 1st inning, the only run for Miami Westminster, and they're going to walk him. In high school ball, they do not go through the formality of the 4 pitches. They just say, congratulations, you just walked. Where are you going next? He's going to first base. But down to first, Lopez. At second, the pinch runner Walker. 2 on, 2 out for James Davis, who's 0 for 1. Executed that sacrifice bunt in the 1st inning. Curveball is low.
A lot of people will tell you they think that should be done in professional ball too. If you're going to walk a man, just say, I want to walk him, and set him down to first base. But I've seen a lot of plays happen on intentional walks.
1-0 changeup is low. 2-0. Now let's see if Davis gets green lighted. 2-0 to look for a fastball, or if Rich Hoffman's going to have Davis taking in hopes of getting Jimmy Gutierrez up there, a much more proficient hitter. Runners lead first and second. 2-0 fastball taking all the way. It's a strike. Zach Diaz, the winning pitcher in the state semifinal, pitched 3 innings in that semi, allowed an unearned run and struck out 6. Ground ball to the shortstop. Wiggs flips to Krochik for the force, and that does it for Miami Westminster Christian. Here in the 5th inning for Miami, no runs, hits or errors, a couple of walks, and 2 men left on base. We've played 5 complete for the Florida Class 2A State Baseball Championship. Lakeland Santa Fe leads it by a run. Two-1 our score as we head to the 6th inning in the Class 2A State Baseball Championship game. A great new event in the state of Florida, and Sports Channel will bring it to you Sunday at 7 o'clock. It's the FHSAA Meet of Champions, the top runner, the top entrant in each track and field classification in all the classes of the state of Florida, along with the best of the runners-up, will compete for honors throughout the state of Florida. It's the FHSAA Meet of Champions, and you'll see it right here on Sports Channel Sunday, May 21st at 7 o'clock. We hope you'll tune in. First pitch in the 6th inning is fouled out of play. Strike 1 by Mike Prochik. Prochik singled in the 2nd inning and came around to score. Reached on an error in the 3rd, loading the bases, but Santa Fe could not get the 2-out hit and left the bases loaded in that 3rd inning. Swing and a miss at a change. First changeup we've seen from Wiegand, and the count's 0-2. K.O. Wiegand, an 8-game winner on the season. There's a tapper up the middle. Lopez should handle it on 2 hops, and he does. 1 away. Well, that's 5 in a row retired by Wiegand, who has allowed just 1 earned run, 5 hits. He has struck out 6, walked a batter, and hit a couple. You see head coach John Carpenter coaching at 3rd for Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic. 144 wins, only 42 losses in his 7 years at the Lakeland school. Donovan Jones steps in, bunts the first pitch foul, strike 1. Jones is 0 for 2. Left-handed hitter, not a guy who's a threat to do a lot at the plate, but he can slap a base hit by you. Runs pretty well if he can get on base. He has a chance to move around. There's a ball fouled straight back, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Wiegand picking up the pace since early in the game when he was kind of laboring out there a little bit. Gave up 5 hits in the first 3 innings, but has not given up 1 in the last 2 1/3. The right-hander kicks, and the 0-2 is chopped left side. Lopez waits for the second hop. Look at that arm. Oh, man. Pee Wee Lopez does not have great range, does not have great speed. He's a solidly built kid, and the pro scouts really like him, but Frank, they like him as a catcher, and this arm might be part of the reason why.
Could very well be. We'll get another look at it. He waits, takes his time, and really fires it on over to first base.
So with 2 out in the 6th inning, that'll be the number 9 hitter, Adam Kaufman, stepping to the plate, and it hit him. Not what Wiegand had in mind with a number 9 hitter up there.
Certainly not. Third batter he's hitting this ball game.
Just
Take another
kerplunks.
look at it. It just keeps boring in on him, and Mr. Kaufman just couldn't get out of the way of it.
So with 1 on and 2 out, we go back to the top of the order, and Scott Wiggs. Scott Wiggs comes from a baseball playing family. He's got 2 older brothers that played collegiately at the University of Florida. Johnny Wiggs, a left-handed pitcher, was on the Florida team that made it to the College World Series. And Chris Wiggs, a current third baseman at the University of Florida. Scott will play junior college baseball at Santa Fe Community College in Gainesville next year. And he takes a pitch in there for strike 1. In fact, his brother Johnny is here in the ballpark, rooting on the Lakeland Santa Fe Christian Crimson Hawks. Santa Fe Catholic, excuse me. 0-1 pitch is a strike, throw down to second base, and he is safe, and then he's out.
He just overslid the bag.
Trying to slide away from the tag. The runner, Kaufman, slid so wide of the bag he couldn't grab it as he went by it. So it goes down as a caught stealing. The inning is over. Wiggs will lead off the 7th for Lakeland Santa Fe. But first, Miami Westminster will come to the plate in the bottom of the 6th inning, still down by a run here on Sports Channel. Bottom of the 6th inning. Miami Westminster, state champions in 81, 88, 90, 92, and 94, trails Lakeland Santa Fe. They have 2 more shots at Santa Fe pitching. And to start off the 6th inning, bottom half, a curve is outside, ball 1 to Jimmy Gutierrez. Miami has dominated its opponents in the postseason with a combined score of 105-4. Their closest game, 5-2 over Miami Brito. They've won games 25 and 22-0. But they are in a battle today with a Lakeland Santa Fe club that had to scratch and claw to get into this championship match. There's a pitch outside, ball 2.
Quite a tribute to Zach Diaz and his left arm. You know, there have been very, very few well-hit balls in this game on either side.
2-1 pitch, high chopper, that could be trouble. Wiggs charging, tries to barehand, no chance. It'll be an infield single for Gutierrez.
That's a do-or-die play right there by Scott Wiggs. If you do it, it's beautiful. If you don't, you've made a tremendous effort. And it is a base hit. Look at it again. Another ball chopped straight down. How many of those have we had today? And you'll watch Wiggs try to barehand it, but no go. Base hit.
And all those high choppers, partly because of the guys trying to pull off-speed stuff away. And you've got to go the other way if you're going to hit it solidly most of the time. Here's Jason Moore pushing a bunt up the first base side. They will let that go foul. And it ends up being just strike 1. Capets fielded it just as the ball did roll across the baseline. And Moore, who is 2 for 2, will return to the plate. Miami Westminster batting here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. They've got a runner at first with nobody out. There's David Valdez. He is a former University of Florida baseball player and assistant coach for Miami Westminster. And Rich Hoffman says this is a young man who's got a great future in coaching, and Rich Hoffman, with 27 years experience, ought to recognize a good coach when he works with one.
I'd have to think so. He came with the school, didn't he, Rich?
Yes, went to the school, went on to Florida, and then now is back. Ground ball left side, could be two. They go to second for one, over to first. They turn the double play. Prochuk had a little trouble getting it out of his glove, but stayed with it. And there's two out here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
We'll take another look at it. Taylor made double play, really, right at the shortstop. Nice underhand toss, and Prochuk finds the handle and guns it across in time. Another angle on it. Good feed and a good throw. Got him by a step.
That'll bring up Bryce, and he takes up high, ball one. And if you look down the line now, if Bryce is retired come the 7th inning, Miami Westminster will have the 6, 7, 8 hitters coming up there. So they will not have the heart of the order. This is a place where they had a couple of their better hitters, Gutierrez and Moore, but Moore did what Gutierrez did in a way. He tried to pull that pitch that was up and out over the plate, and he hammered it into the ground. 2-0 pitch right in there for a strike to Keith Bryce. 2 balls and 1 strike to the DH for Westminster.
Whenever I see batters trying to do that, I have to think about Tommy John. He stayed in the major leagues many, many years.
2-1 pitch, line to right field. Macca makes the running catch. And that does it for Miami Westminster. They get just one more shot. No runs a hit, nobody left on base. We head to the 7th and scheduled final inning of the Florida Class 2A championship game. Lakeland Santa Fe leads it by a run. Lakeland Santa Fe with a run in the 1st, a run in the 2nd. They gave up 1 in the 1st, and they've been holding on ever since. They've got to hold on for 3 more outs, but first they want to try to add to their lead, and Scott Wiggs will lead things off. Wiggs with a couple of hits, also been hit by a pitch. He was at the plate when Kaufman was caught stealing to end the 6th inning of this ball game. Scott Wiggs was 2 for 4 in the semifinal. He struck out his first time 2 times up in this state tournament. Since then, he is 4 for 4. Takes a strike. It's 1-1. Santa Fe with a 2-run rally in the bottom of the 8th inning to beat Oak Hall School from Gainesville to get to this championship game. 1-1 pitch is down and away. 2 balls and a strike. Maybe it helps to have played some close ball games along the way, as they have had to do.
Well, it keeps your nose to the grindstone, so to speak.
2-1 pitch fouled right into the glove of the catcher, Hacker.
Otherwise, it, may become too easy. You think, hey, this is an easy game. It really isn't. It's a fun game, but it's not easy.
Last year, Miami Westminster won this championship game 12-5. Ground ball, base hit, left side. Wiggs, 3 for 3, has half his team's hits. And we'll see if he'll try to steal a base again, as he has a leadoff single in the top of the 7th inning.
Well, he had a stolen base in the 4th inning after being hit with a pitch. There's that base hit. He pulled that pitch through the left side. So Wiggs has been on base 4 times in a row in this game.
Diaz bunts up the 3rd base side. Gutierrez looks to second, but will throw to first. Gets the out, and there's 1 down.
Pretty good move there by Pee Wee Lopez, too. Running over to cover 3rd base from his shortstop position after Gutierrez came down the line to field that bunt.
So Lane Putnell will step in. Putnell had a big RBI hit in the state semifinal game. That was in the bottom of the 7th when they tied it to 4 extra innings. He drove in that run with a 2-out single. Or rather, a 1-out single in the 7th. First pitch to him was a strike from Wiegand. Runner at second, 1 out. 2-1 our score. Wiggs bluffs, ground ball left side. Pee Wee Lopez backhands, goes to a knee, gets up, throws high, safe. It'll be the 2nd error on the day for Pee Wee Lopez, number 4 of the day for Miami Westminster Christian.
Take another look at it. Good sinker right there. It's hit on the ground, and Lopez tries to olay it. And then throws high.
Head coach Rich Hoffman stops by the home plate umpire Charles Day on his way out to the mound to talk to Wiegand.
There's a little bit of an oddity in this ball game, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but look back over the scoreboard. There has not been a fly ball hit by the Santa Fe Catholic team the entire ball game. Not a pop-up to the infield, not a fly ball to the outfield.
Not a fly ball out. Diaz had a little bloop to right that McCoy couldn't come up with, was ruled an error, then changed to a double, and that was it. That's been the only ball really hit up in the air. I mean, Wiegand's pitched well, but I like the way Santa Fe came into this game, hitting to the opposite field, and I really believe that's a big difference between these teams right now, is the success that Santa Fe has had going the other way. 2 on, 1 out, meeting on the mound is over, and here is Matty Diaz. He had the game-winning hit in the semifinal. He has an RBI in this ball game as well. Line drive left center field. That's going to get in for a base hit. Wiggs around third. He will score. The throw will go to third base. But advancing in there safely is Putnell. It'll be a double for Matty Diaz. And Lakeland Santa Fe leads it 3-1. Second double, second RBI of the ball game for Diaz. Matty now with a big hit here in this contest.
There it is there. Line drive out toward the gap in left center field. The ball is run down by James Davis. But not before a run scores. Putnell goes from first to third, and Matty Diaz with his third hit and second double and his second run batted in.
And we're going to get a pitching change now as Wiegand will leave the ball game. And John Miller, we saw him earlier in the role of cheerleader for Miami Westminster. He will now come in the role of reliever to try to shut things down and keep his team within a couple. Right now it's a 3-1 ball game, helped along by an error, although this is an earned run against Wiegand. Putnell, if he scores, would be an unearned run. But Wiegand, with an 8-3 record, leaves the ball game, and he'll turn it over to John Miller here in the 7th inning. 3-1 the score. Miami Westminster, which has not been able to win consecutive state championships. I was talking with Rich Hoffman about that yesterday, and the fact that it has been the even-numbered thing, 88, 90, 92, and 94. Only once in that stretch did they lose a title game. They are 4-1 in championship games. They are 6-1 in semifinals. But today has not been their day so far. They do have one more chance at the plate. But now let's check out the reliever into the ball game. Right-hander John Miller.
All right, Miller has pitched 55 innings this year, allowed 34 hits. He's walked 25 and struck out 53 men. That's a good ratio. Averaging really a strikeout an inning. And as we mentioned earlier when we saw him cheerleading, a record of 9-0 and an earned run average of 102.
Well, the top 3 pitchers from Miami Westminster all came into this state Final Four with outstanding pitching numbers. The worst of the 3, Brad Dupree, an ERA of 2.52. And he threw 5 scoreless innings to win the state semifinal. So it's an excellent staff, a lot of talent on this ball club. There's no overlooking that as you get to look at the numbers of John Miller. This is a very talented team, a young team for Miami Westminster. They have Boyd as a senior, Pee-wee Lopez, Brooker, Gutierrez, but all those arms are coming back next year, and it would not be at all surprising to see this team back here next year. Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic, on the other hand, is a little bit more experienced ball club, relying much more on seniors, although they will have Matty Diaz back next year, and they'll have a very good right-hander. Dustin Osborne, their right-hander, is also a graduating senior, so they'll be rebuilding next year, unlike Westminster. We're set to continue. The pitch is down low and away. Ball 1 to David Macca. Macca's got a good bat, although he hasn't shown it today. He has hit 5 home runs. Runners lead at second and third. Short hops him for ball 2. And what this inning is doing, not only does that run give Diaz a little bit of breathing room, Zach Diaz that is, but he sacrificed when back in that dugout to cool down on this 94-degree day and is getting a nice healthy rest here in the top of the 7th inning. 2-0 fastballs in there for a strike, 2-1. Infield is in for Westminster. They've got to cut off a run at the plate. At third base, Putnell. At second, Matty Diaz. Not great speed on the bases for Lakeland Santa Fe. Breaking ball. Oh, it's a good pitch. Good looking pitch. 2-2.
Beautiful pitch. With the infield in, it makes Macca a 400 hitter the regular season, about a 500 hitter.
All he wants right now is a sac fly or a high chopper that can get that run home. 2-2 pitch, low and away. We've got a full count. On deck is Dietrich, the DH. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 7th inning for Miami Westminster, their 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Miranda, Boyd, and Hacker, will be due up. John Miller in relief of Wiegand. 3-2 pitch, low, ball 4. He walked it. Well, Miller has now matched Wiegand for walks on the day. Wiegand went 6 1/3 innings, allowing 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, struck out 6, walked 1. He stands to be the losing pitcher. There you get a look at all the runners. That's Putnell at third base. Prior to that, Diaz at second. There's Matty taking his lead. David Macca trotted down to first, and now they'll look for the double play in the middle of the infield and still keep it in at first and third. Dietrich steps in, fastball, strike 1. Jason Dietrich, 3 home runs on the year, 21 runs batted in. 0 for 3 in the semi, 0 for 2 today. Fouls it back, he's behind on the count, 0-2.
Good pitch right there from from Miller rather, came right in on his hands.
Not enough pitchers pitch inside. It's so important to be able to do that effectively.
If you're going to win, you got to pitch inside.
0-2 the count. Miller's 0-2 breaking ball's a beauty, called strike 3. First strikeout for John Miller, the 7th for Westminster pitching today.
Here it is again, breaking ball on the inside corner.
So here's Mike Prochek with the bases loaded and 2 out. Prochek's been hanging around the 400 mark all year. Takes a strike, knee-high outside corner. That's just nasty.
I'll tell you one thing, Charles Day has been a pitcher's umpire.
Yes, he
today.
has.
Telling his kid, you better swing that bat.
Runners lead at all 3 bases with 2 down. 0-1 pitch is outside and low, a ball and a strike.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There you see the runner at third base, Lane Putnell. Matty Diaz at second, and David Macca over at first. 1 run in, it's a 3-1 score now. The 1-1 to Prochek, line drive, 1 hopper. Lopez will flip to second for the force, and that does it for Lakeland Santa Fe. Here in the top of the 7th inning, they get an insurance run on a couple of hits. There was an error, a walk, the bases left loaded. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic, 3 outs from a state title. Miami Westminster, the defending champ, needs 2 runs. Well, the Warriors from Miami Westminster Christian. Their fans trying to root them on. They need 2 runs here in the bottom of the 7th inning, or Lakeland Santa Fe will come away with the state championship, the first in that school's history, and their fans are equally excited about this bottom of the 7th inning. Miami Westminster playing for the state title for the 6th time in 8 years. They've won 4 titles. They've lost 1 title game before. And the first pitch in the bottom of the 7th all the way to the backstop, ball 1. To the second baseman, Javier Miranda. Miranda was not a regular early in the season. Then Gutierrez got hurt, missed some games. Miranda filled in, and filled in so well, he kept a spot in the lineup. 1-0 pitch, up and away, 2 balls and no strikes. Zach Diaz closing in on 80 pitches, so the pitch count right in that area that I think John Carpenter has to be concerned about, considering he threw about 40 or so yesterday. That's a strike at the letters, and the count's 2-1.
Diaz has been pitching with a purpose today. I mentioned several times, throw strikes. They're going to hit the ball, let them hit it.
Ground ball right side. Booting it is Prochik, picks it up, throws late. It'll be an error on Prochik, and the leadoff man is on for Miami Westminster. Prochik committed an error in the top of the 8th inning in the semifinal, allowing O'Call to take the lead.
There it is right there. The ball just came up, hit him off the chest. Picks it up and throws it on, and the throw is not contained by Capitz, but they wouldn't have had the runner anyway. So an error puts the leadoff man on.
And that'll bring up Eugene Boyd. Curveball is in there, strike one. Boyd struck out in the 2nd inning, walked in the 5th. 0 for 1 in this ball game. 1 for 4 in the final 4. Swing and a miss. Good fastball tailing away at strike 2. Zach Diaz, 3 innings of relief in the semifinal to pick up his 12th win. He is now 3 outs away from his 13th and the school's first ever state championship. There's a pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out on 3 pitches. 7th strikeout for Diaz. And there's 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. And we're going to get a pinch hitter into the ball game as Manny Crespo will come to the plate.
Crespo hit with .214 during the regular season, but 4 of his 12 hits were home runs. So you have to figure that he's sort of a free swinging young man, right-hand batter, as you see right there. Had 12 hits for the season, 4 of them homers. And despite only 12 base hits, he had 17 runs batted in.
Crespo steps in for Hacker, who was 0 for 1. Big curve is high, ball 1. You hear more and more noise from the fans behind each of the dugouts. Miami Westminster, they're kind of the giant in this thing. They are Goliath, and Lakeland Santa Fe trying to play the part of David. 1 on, 1 out. Tying run at the plate. But this is a big, big park to try to hit it out of. Up and away, ball 2.
Now, David's holding a pretty big hammer right now.
That he is, but if Westminster can get 2 men on, that will bring Lopez to the plate. That is something Santa Fe does not want to see happen. 2-0 pitch, strike, 2-1. On deck right now is Kurt Brooker. We'll see if he does bat for himself. Runner leads. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Took something off it. Bit of a changeup from Diaz. And you know, he's on fumes right now. About 90 pitches today, about 120 or so on the weekend. Called strike 3. Got the outside corner. It's been there for the pitchers all day long. And it's there for strikeout number 8 for Zach Diaz, who's 1 out away from a state title.
Well, I mentioned Charlie Day being a pitcher's umpire today, but he has been consistent all day long. And there it is. He sort of painted the black and gets the strike call, his 8th strikeout.
So here's Brooker. Throw over to first base. The runner going to stay very close. That's Miranda. He does not the key guy. The key guy is still at the plate. They've not been able to get the tying run on board. Diaz, fastball, line drive, left field, base hit. And now that gets him going on the other side, because that means the best player on this Miami Westminster club, Pee Wee Lopez, will come to the plate here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Let's see if it'll be Diaz or will it be Dustin Osborne. Now Zach Diaz wants his brother Matty to come out and talk with him. Maybe review what they've done so far against Lopez, who's had a mixed day so far today.
He had a base hit his first time up. Moved to second base on a sacrifice and scored the first run. Then he was called out on strikes in the third and walked in the fifth.
There's the nervous papa. His son's out there pitching and catching. Lopez steps in. Again, he's a shortstop, but he's 6 foot 190. He has 8 home runs. He is the potential winning run at the plate. He takes a curve high for ball 1. Santa Fe 1 out from a state championship. Pee Wee Lopez, one big swing from delivering another one for Westminster. In between, a whole lot of other options. High fly left field. Not too deep. Coming in is Putnell. And the state championship belongs to Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic High School as they spring the big upset over the traditional power Miami Westminster Christian here in Sarasota.
Well, the day belongs to the Crimson Hawks as they pile on each other out between the pitcher's mound and first base. You know, I love to see kids celebrate like that. I just hope that none of them ever get hurt on the bottom of one of those pileups. But it's quite a day for the Crimson Hawks as they have, in my book, pulled an upset today behind Zach Diaz. And you got to give him full credit for an excellent pitching job. And there's Dad, just as proud as he can be. We'll be back with more, but first, the Sports Channel timeout.
Our final line score, Santa Fe from Lakeland, 3 runs, 7 hits and 2 errors. Miami Westminster, 1 run and 5 hits and 4 errors. Zach Diaz, 13-1 on the year, and Frank Messer, really the story of the ball game. A kid who threw 3 innings yesterday in relief comes right back with a complete game.
Certainly did come back, and he pitched well. He pitched with his head as well as his left arm. He did not walk people. He gave up 2 walks in the ball game, if my scorecard is correct, and one of those was intentional. He pitched 7 innings, allowed 5 hits, only 1 run, struck out 8, walked 2. One of those walks an intentional walk, and certainly pitching 4 innings yesterday. Is that correct, for a win? 3 innings yesterday for a win, and 7 more this afternoon. And well, it's the day for the brothers, the Diaz brothers, the one calling the game and the other one throwing the pitches.
Matt E. Diaz had 3 hits, 2 doubles, drove in a couple of runs. A big RBI double in the 7th inning to give his brother a little breathing room that turned out to be very important. After the leadoff man reached in the 7th inning, Miami Westminster couldn't play it quite the way they would have, and as a result, the state championship goes to Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic High School, the Crimson Hawks, the winners in the Class 2A championship game. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the Florida High School Activities Association 2A title matchup here at Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota. On behalf of Sports Channel, we want to congratulate the 2A state champs, the Lakeland Santa Fe Catholic Crimson Hawks. I'm Larry Vitale saying so long for Frank Messer and our entire Sports Channel crew. Once again, the final score, Lakeland Santa Fe 3, Miami Westminster 1. Congratulations to the Class 2A state champion.